Recording in progress.
At that point in
I
time.
don't know who. The only person I know that wants to go to the Jets is Rex Ryan. And
Yeah,
I don't
Rex.
know him personally, but he keeps saying that, like I'm pretty sure I'm going to get this job. Like I don't know, he can talk so confidently.
He's the only one interviewing at this point in time.
They reached out to Matt Nagy though, former Chicago Bears head coach, current Kansas City offensive coordinator.
Any, you got to give me to get the Jets job. Mm-hmm. You have to give me some general manager. I have to be in charge of player personnel.
That's why there's no way the Jets can hire somebody before having a GM in there.
They could.
I mean, they can. Yeah, they probably will, but they shouldn't.
They like I said, that the only reason why Rex would have to be even thinking about it is if it comes with player personnel responsibilities. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I would think about it. He's been down this road before, right? You might as well. Is Herm Edwards interviewing as well? Like
playoffs? Oh, no, wait, that's not her. That's what
that's
was
not it. Not Irsay. He played. It was for the Colts. What is his name?
Salt and pepper hair.
Yep. My God, I'm saying it.
Herm Edwards though said
you played
to win the game though.
Yeah, play to win the game is Herm.
Yes.
Playoffs.
What is his name? He was also the head coach of the Falcons at one time. Playoffs? Question mark.
I thought I just had it in my head.
I can't think of what his name is. I think it starts with an M.
Jim Mora. Yes. Jim Mora.
Yep, Jim Mora. Yeah. Playoffs.
Yeah,
Herm Edwards was play to win the game. Jim Mora. Yeah. And
hello, you play to win the game.
Not wrong. And I love
the that's his name, Denny Green.
Dennis Green, yeah. But I love a good coach's rant where they're just stating things that are just like obviously factually true, right? Like we play to win the games. They are who we thought they were.
They are who we thought and we
let them off the hook.
And we let them off the hook. I'll tell you that's an all-time favorite.
They kicked the ball to Devin Hester twice in that game, though. That's their own fault.
Also, Mike Singletary when he
can't win with him.
Can't win them. Winners. They need winners.
What was that? Not Vernon Maxwell. It was
Vernon. You threw me off with the Vernon Maxwell.
It was a Vernon though, wasn't it?
Yes,
his last name was a Vernon, right?
Yes. Why can't I think of? See, yes.
Vernon tight end. Vernon Davis.
Yes.
Can't win with him.
But that was Vernon Davis's rookie year.
Yes.
He was touted as this young tight end, very similar to Kyle Pitts. He was highly rated, and he had some issue where he just couldn't get right. And that's when what's name was saying, like, I need winners. I can't win with the guy.
Can't win with him.
But he turned his career around.
I'll say he's a two-time Pro Bowler who played for 13 years.
After that, Mike Singletary got to him somehow, and he became
a better
got fired,
player. I'm pretty sure
he did get. It
got to him on the way out the door.
Yeah,
good luck.
And I think that season is the season. I think they need him to either the playoffs, but he starts crying because he has a really big game, and he got better.
I mean, he had a respectable career. Like he had 2 seasons in there where he was looked like he was on 965 and 13, 914 and 7. Then he had like 850 and 13, all with San Francisco. Mm-hmm. But then after that, he's just like 300 to 500 yards, which is for a tight end. If you block, this is a good season.
Mm-hmm. Those are the all-time great rants.
Yes. Well, we got to talk about not good seasons, but seasons that are over.
They're over. Good that the season is over.
Yes. Thank goodness the season is over.
Yes.
You want to start?
We can. I didn't even watch the game. I did not. I refused. I didn't want to watch. I think I watched it. Did I watch your game? I might have. No, I didn't. Yeah, but once the injury started happening in your game, I didn't watch it. But I didn't watch it because all I would go back and look at the score. I was like, okay, 10-0. All right. Eagles has a good enough lead. All right, I'll take to it. Oh, 10-7. All right, there we go. Giants fighting back, but not too much fight. I like it.
Enough to keep me in the top 3 picks fight.
Enough to keep me in the top 3 pick. So Malik Neighbors had a 40-yard touchdown in that game. Finished the year, breaks all sorts of Giants rookie records from
For
wide
sure.
receivers.
Yeah, he had a great season.
108 receptions, like 100 over 1,000,
1,200 yards,
1,200 yards.
7
He had another
touchdowns.
touchdown, 17. Yeah, he broke all sorts of wide receiver records.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, it was a pretty decent season.
And you figure, I mean, look who was thrown at him all year.
Who wasn't thrown at him? He caught passes from Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tim Boyle, also
I'm sure
Tony Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlets threw some passes to him.
He caught passes from everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, that's who was throwing at him though.
Mm-hmm.
And he caught him.
He caught him.
They threw a lot at him too. How many targets did he have? He had 170 targets this season.
And I tell you what, he had 2 drops in 2 games that would have been 2 wins. If he catches them, it's pretty much 2 extra wins in the win column.
Well, if you had 2 extra,
I wouldn't blame him.
You'd be picking 9th.
We would have been trying, and we'd have done better in those other games.
Maybe, yes, sir.
Oh man! So I was watching a bunch of exit interviews, basically for the Giants players. I haven't read Shane's Joe Shane's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
His stuff was same. He's like, I thought it's a little disrespectful, but he was like, yeah, 3 and 14. It's no one's fault but mine. I did not put a team together that was capable of winning. Basically, like these bums in there weren't that good.
Yeah, I put together a really shitty team. I'm sorry, y'all.
We did not have the talent in that locker room. I'll be in the locker room like, wait, what are you talking about? Right?
Yeah.
So that's what Joe said, and I was like, okay, sure, that's fine. He talked about having what position that they were in going into the offseason, 40 million in cap space, looking at 100 million in the next year. So he's like, hey, we could make some moves in the free agency. We could be movers in free agency. That's what he's supposed to say.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to Burns talk. Burns talked in his exit interview, talked about how there was a lot of young people on defense, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
There was young talent all across the field. He believes that if we can get some more veteran talent in to combine with the youthful talent that they had last year, the defense will be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Which is true today, because we all knew that there was going to be some learning curves with all the youth we had out there in the secondary. And that's really where the Giants really got beat. Deonte Banks was looking bad out there all year. So he talked about that. Andrew Thomas talked about how before his injury, it was the best offensive line he had played with as far as cohesiveness. And it was before he got injured. It was a pretty good cohesively. So there was they all talked. I'm not going to say gave rave reviews of Daboll, but they all said that Daboll tried to keep everything together while they were losing. They talked about how he's a good coach and they're happy that he's going to come back. Mm-hmm. You can't really say anything different because he's currently the coach. So, and there's always that talk, but during the season, I would have heard more about it if it was that he was a problem.
Yes.
And that's what I kept saying.
Sure.
That's what I felt that was the reason that they were going to keep him. Now, they've also talked about coaching changes happening in the offseason. I don't know. We're not coaching, but there's going to be some people getting fired, whether that's
coordinators
like Kafka, or whether that's Shane Bowen, who just came for 1 year, which would be kind of difficult because now you got to run another new defense out there.
Mm-hmm.
But so most of the people's interviews that I seem like it was good. They were all none of them are happy that they lost. They were happy that they fought. Even they were all talking about how it was good to get that win against Indianapolis. I know y'all didn't like it, but for us to keep them out of the playoffs felt good. Kind of like that. Like, but yeah. So the season was a failure for the most part.
Yep.
Unless you want to say we got Daniel Jones out of there. But they also talked about that. I heard Joe was like, Daniel Jones is coming off an ACL surgery, right? Like, we didn't know if he was going to be good coming out of it, and he wasn't. So That's pretty much it. But yeah, they John Mara said that the quarterback search is our most important thing. We have to get the quarterback right. I That goes without saying. I don't think he needed to say
No
that.
lies detected there, yeah.
But you kind of put yourself desperate on the free agency market that because at this point in time, you need something. Your quarterback who is starting the first game of next season isn't on your roster.
At least you hope it's not.
It can't be. Right. Like it can't be. So if your starting quarterback's not there, either you're going to possibly overpay for a quarterback with starting quarterback potential, or you're pulling a backup from a team and making him a starter.
Ooh,
right? Still for money, but either you're overpaying for a free agent that's out there who has starting experience, or you're overpaying for a backup and you're trying to bring him here. But either way, the quarterback of the Giants of next year is not on the team right now.
How would you feel about Tyson Bagent?
No. No. Can he run?
Yes.
He could be there. He'll be one of the 4 people we bring in during OTA.
Yeah, trade the Bears for Tyson Bagent.
We're not trading anyone.
Give up a second this year and the next year's first.
We're not trading anyone. There is backup talent out there, right? So we want
not like Tyson Bagent. Look at his dad. His dad. It's a package deal. You get his dad too. He'll arm wrestle everybody.
I don't need that. We're gonna find somebody to play this year. Because we have to. You have to have a quarterback, and so we'll find somebody.
Yes.
Will they be good? What's the options? We pay $30 million, $25 million for Kirk Cousins for a year or two.
You might be able to get Kirk Cousins super cheap because he'll still be getting paid.
That's $25 million is what I'm thinking.
I'm talking like the Russ deal because he's still getting paid from the Falcons.
It's possible. So
I mean, assuming they cut him, which they probably will.
Yeah. But there possibly Kirk Cousins out there. Something's gonna have to get done with Darnold. I doubt if Darnold will probably stay with that team.
If the Vikings let Darnold go, then that's silly.
But if Darnold doesn't go, then JJ McCarthy's going. You're gonna
they still got time for JJ McCarthy. They just drafted him this last year. There's no need to trade him. Not yet.
But so how much money? What do you sign Darnold to? Because Darnold's a free agent. So if you let him go,
I know.
So if you let him go, you sign him for a 3-year deal. You've just lost all of your power.
Yeah, but there's no hurry to trade JJ McCarthy though, unless somebody's willing to give up a bunch for him.
You're
not going to get the 9th round pick back. So.
Coming off of that surgery that he just had, kind of damages him.
Well, yeah,
right.
But even, let's say they drafted him and they had Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold just beat him out, and McCarthy sat on the bench the whole year.
Yeah, but if you wouldn't have,
you're still. But let's just say that. Let's just say that's happened, right? Mm-hmm. If they go to trade him, they're still not getting the 9th pick back or whatever they drafted him at, the 11th or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get an equivalent of 11th pick in the first round back from McCarthy. So there's no need to move him.
Yeah, but you can get a second.
There's no need to move him. There's no somebody will get desperate and somebody will trade.
Yeah, but you're still never going to get your number 1 for him, even if I trade you.
I understand, but like, but there's
no. Oh no! I'm not saying get rid of him as in terms of cut him.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. But you're never going to get that back, and he costs next to nothing. He costs the same amount as a backup quarterback.
Yeah, but if you're talking about winning a championship and you can get a second rounder for him, you could probably get a second rounder for him. Maybe. A second rounder is a playing position on your football team, a starter. Yeah. So if the Giants offered a second rounder, which is a pick 35, right?
Yeah, which will be if the Giants trade for McCarthy.
I would hate it. I would absolutely hate it. But
I would have so much fun laughing at that for so long.
they've already done the research on him last year.
Uh-huh.
And if they had a high grade on him last year, they
would have drafted him.
They would have, but maybe they didn't have him graded higher than Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, but
and to them now it's like,
yeah.
But to them now it's like, instead of getting JJ McCarthy for the 6th pick in the draft, we get him for the 35th pick.
I think every team that's quarterback needy goes into the draft saying these are the X amount of guys I'll draft. These are like the 2 or 3 guys I would draft. And otherwise, I'm just, especially in the first couple rounds. Otherwise, you're just taking flyers because of need, which is never a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. Particularly at quarterback. So, if they were there and they had JJ McCarthy graded as a first round choice, they would have taken him at 6.
But let's say at 6, what if you don't have him graded at that high?
It doesn't matter. Like nobody has Bo Nix graded at 11 or 12 or whatever it is. Nobody, right? But they probably had him in a first round grade, and that's where they're at in the first round, so they draft him.
Yeah, I could see giving up a 30 you pick 35 for a quarterback that you vetted last year, highly vetted last year. Was rumors of being the guy you were going to get at 6. I could see using your 3rd pick to get someone else and trading that pick for trading your 2nd round pick for JJ McCarthy, if that's what you like. I personally don't like JJ McCarthy, but if you liked him last year, you'll love him this year at 35.
I'm gonna tell you what, if the Giants trade anything for JJ McCarthy, Joe Shane should have been fired.
Why?
Because you should have drafted him last year if that's the guy that you wanted.
Who would we have had to throw the ball? The season looks like it does now, maybe even worse, because we don't have the Malik Neighbors to kind of say, at least the season wasn't that bad.
If you think JJ McCarthy is a potential franchise quarterback, you should have drafted him last year instead of giving up anything this year with him coming off of knee issues.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You have your board. You have your draft board.
Yeah, I know. But if they had a first-round grade on him, they should have drafted him.
But a first-round grade doesn't make him better than someone else on your board that's higher. You have a higher grade for. So if you have other people that you grade
value,
higher,
though, tends to bump
exactly
up
now the value's there because
the value would have been there last year.
But to them it wasn't. They had Daniel Jones,
we've talked about this to death. Nobody. The Giants did not think Daniel Jones
had quarterbacks. They had quarterbacks that they would have picked if they were available.
Yes.
JJ McCarthy was not one of those quarterbacks that they would have picked at 6 if available. If available. But let's say they had the 18th pick.
Right? There were a bunch of quarterbacks available at 6.
Yes, there was Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and him.
JJ McCarthy, yep. Bo Nix is going to the playoffs.
Would you have had a first round grade on Bo Nix going into it?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like you never know.
Exactly.
Like, I wouldn't have picked him. But I'm saying now,
I'm still shocked. I'm happy the dude played well, but it's like, wow, okay, would have never seen that one coming in a million years.
And let's say I don't have to give up a second. If I can give up a third or a second is fine. I'd give up a second for JJ McCarthy if they really, and that's like I said, I don't like JJ McCarthy. I'm talking about strictly on this.
You should be praying that they don't do anything to get JJ McCarthy. And I'm saying if they do, then Joe Shane should have been fired because there's no reason to go after JJ McCarthy whatsoever. There's no reason.
I need quarterbacks.
There's quarterbacks available. JJ McCarthy.
They'll be one of them.
I would not give up draft capital. Well, right now, a lot of them are still playing, but there will be quarterbacks available. There always are. Yeah. And so, like, trading for JJ McCarthy to me would be a fool's errand.
I think you get him cheap.
Yeah, but
I think he comes cheap.
You can get Will Levis cheap too. You want Will Levis?
No, I don't. But like I said, it all depends on how they had. If they thought that he was a good quarterback, but just didn't want to get him at that position of 6, they felt he wasn't worth 6. Then you still feel like you're getting value for him.
If it's and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have.
They had him in New York a while.
Yeah,
like
because they had to make sure that are we going to draft this guy or no? And when they realized no, then what's the point?
But I bet if he was there at 30
Jaden or Drake, and that was it.
They did want either
and
Jaden
they
or Drake.
tried to trade up to get Drake.
But that's because of where they were at. You know what I'm saying? Like if they were picking 15th, or let's say they were picking 10th, where the Minnesota Vikings was picking, where JJ went, was it 10 or 11?
10 or 11,
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Had the Giants been picking 10 or 11, maybe JJ McCarthy's on their draft board at that point in time. That's what I mean. Like if
I understand what you're saying. All I'm saying is if you are willing to draft a quarterback in the first round, even though you have Daniel Jones on your roster and paid for 2 more years, if you're willing to say, yeah, we'll draft a quarterback if it's the right one. If whether you're at 6 or at 10, if JJ McCarthy was the right one for you, you take him.
Correct. You're right.
Right? So,
you're right.
So the fact that
he
they didn't,
the right one.
He isn't the right one. So if Joe Shane now trades more draft capital to get JJ McCarthy this year, he should have been fired because is foolish. Like not just because you're trading to get some guy you could have drafted last year, but it's JJ McCarthy. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
If it happened, I'm not saying I'd be upset at it because I don't know enough of JJ.
If I were a Giants fan, I would be furious. I'd be furious.
But the thing about it is, the way I look at it is, the Giants are going to have to attack a quarterback in the draft, regardless of what is taken from them.
Depends on what they do in the summer.
I don't even think it depends on what they do in free agency. I think even if you get a free agent quarterback, you're still looking for a quarterback in that draft. Whether you take him in the 3rd round, whether you take him in the 4th round, you're still looking for a quarterback in that draft. Because right now, the cupboard for the Giants is bare. Yes, there is nothing. Sure.
And it really depends on a free
agent and a draft pick is what I see coming from the Giants in this draft. In this offseason, they have to address the quarterback in free agency. And let's say they still manage to trade up to get one of the quarterbacks that they think they can get, or one of the quarterbacks they think they can get happens to fall to them, because that can happen as well, right? I still think you draft them. I think you go the route that the Atlanta Falcons went this year. You pay Kirk Cousins because you got to get a quarterback. You got to have one, and then you still draft over him.
Well, I mean, you're not gonna. If you sign Kirk Cousins and then you draft Shadur Sanders or Cam Ward because they fall to 3, then Joe Shane should have been fired in the offseason.
Why?
Because you've essentially just done what the Falcons did.
Which is exactly what the Giants did with Eli Manning. They went and got Kurt Warner in the offseason because they didn't have a quarterback. They got Kurt Warner and still drafted his replacement in that same draft and got Eli Manning. I don't think
Kurt Warner wasn't necessarily... He went on after the Giants and still had a successful... But at the time, he wasn't like...
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what Kirk Cousins would be.
Right?
That's what Kirk Cousins would be.
Yeah,
it would be very similar to that. I just don't think just because you need a quarterback, because they have to address a quarterback in free agency.
Yeah,
they have to. But I don't think that should prevent them from drafting a quarterback in the draft. Just because you say you get a free, because whatever you get out there, it's broke. It's broken. I'm sorry.
Maybe.
The quarterbacks that are available are broken. If you could fix them, like Geno, even Geno,
Geno
when
Smith,
when
Sam
Geno
Darnold,
left, when all
Baker
these quarterbacks
Mayfield,
left,
these are like 3 examples within the last each one in the last 3 years that have turned out.
When they all left, they were broken. They were broken. Now, if you can fix them, that's fine.
Isn't that Brian Daboll's claim to fame?
Exactly. If he can fix them, sure. But Seattle fixed them. Minnesota fixed them, and Tampa Bay fixed them. If you can fix them, that's fine. But whatever you get in free agency, that's a broken quarterback. And if
potentially,
Fields,
sure,
Justin Fields, if the Giants, he's a broken quarterback. Because if he wasn't, That's what I mean. All I'm saying is you just know in free agency what you're getting is a broken quarterback. If you fix him, sure, that's great. And that's what worked out for Darnold. They knew when they got Darnold that we're getting a broken quarterback. Did they know they could fix him? I don't think they knew. Were they? I don't think they would have won. I think they would have done exactly what OJ Mayo did, and Darnold. Well, no, Darnold would have started as hot as he did. There was no way they were going to JJ McCarthy ever.
No,
but I think the plan was similar to that. Okay, let Darnold go out there and play a few games to warm up the team.
Was a former first-round pick who went Carolina and then bench at San Francisco, and was the same guy that said he heard ghosts and stuff like that, and was basically ridiculed and mocked to the point of like nobody. He was beyond broken. Like he was probably in the eyes of the pundit and the average Joe like us, like on his way out of the league.
That's crazy. He's only had 4 years.
I know, but I mean, another guy in that same draft, Josh Rosen, like he only had 2 years, and that was it, and he's out of the league, right? So it's like, well, here's another failed first round draft pick, and now only 4 years in or whatever, 5 years in, now he's got his chance, right? Which is good for him. You know, I don't know. All I know is if the Giants aren't taking one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft, you're not going to take a quarterback until like the 3rd or 4th round. I'm going to go Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, Curtis Rourke, Max Brosmer, Tyler Show. Like these guys aren't doing anything.
Milroe is decent, and
there's a Gronkowski on here, Gronowski. So maybe he gets drafted on accident because I think it's a Gronkowski.
I watched Quinn Ewers play here in Texas. There ain't nothing special about him.
I know exactly, right? So it's
there's nothing.
None of those guys are sneaking above the 3rd round
because none of them have first round grades.
No,
but that's what I mean.
But
that's what I mean. JJ McCarthy does. And if you could trade a second for someone who had a first round grade,
you don't know if they had a first round grade on him, because if they had a first round grade on him, they would have drafted him.
Not that high.
That's all I'm saying. Okay. And clearly they didn't like him better than Michael Penix, and they didn't like him better than Bo Nix, because they would have taken one of those guys there, right? So.
I don't even think we interviewed Michael Penix and Bo Nix.
There you go.
If I remember.
And they still didn't like JJ better than them. We don't
like JJ better than them.
We got a lot to talk about what the Giants are going to do to ruin the team. We got to talk about what the Bears did this weekend to almost ruin my Sunday. That was one of the most stressful. I was exhausted at the end of that game.
I forgot they won.
I was exhausted at the end of that game. I don't know if I've screamed it at. There was a point. They had 3rd and 21. It's the 4th quarter. They had 3rd and 21 on the Packers, and the Packers were like on their side of the field. They converted that 3rd and 21. The Packers did. I immediately turned off the game and I went downstairs and I started swearing and screaming at stuff. I'm like, and I'm like,
that was 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter.
I know,
and it was only down. It was a 8-point game, and they went for a 2-point conversion and didn't get it right.
No, that was, I don't remember what that was at. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, because like we were winning, now we're gonna be tied. I was angry. I went downstairs.
Yeah, because he made that mistake on the 2-point conversion where they went for that crazy play.
They went for it. They went for 2 from the 2 with a double reverse wide receiver option, which they tried earlier, which led to an interception thrown by Keenan Allen. And the play was for Keenan to throw it again. And because Keenan was trying to throw it, there was a defensive hold. Like, oh my gosh, this crazy play gets erased off the books, and they get to go from the 1. And instead of going for it again, which they should have done to make it a 2-score game, they kicked the extra point to make it
an 8-point game. Yep.
What the hell decision is that? This is your best option for converting a 2-point conversion from the 2. You don't have anything to get 1 yard up the gut. You can't just, like Roschon Johnson at one point was 5 for 5 on handoffs from within inside the 5 on touchdowns. give him the ball, let him pound it in with his giant foam head. Yeah, let him do it. Man, he's got no fear. He's going to put that head right into somebody else. They do that. They let the defense is so bad. The Packers convert that 3rd and 21. I turned it off. I turned it back on. And then, I swear to God, whoever coaches the Bears next year, they better, if they don't fully remove the quick screen to DJ Moore as a pass play, they better call it once every 3rd game, because I cannot handle it anymore. Because then they
took it for 40 yards.
They turned. Well, he did, and that was the first time all year.
He had a game.
He did, but then he also
short yards.
He also, yeah, the dude caught more passes than he's ever caught in his career, and he didn't even break 1,000 yards. Everything was at the line of scrimmage. I didn't look at the pass chart, but I guarantee Caleb Williams only had like 3 passes over the middle of the field. Everything was at the line of scrimmage. Everything. It was so infuriating to watch. And then they did that when they're trying to run the clock, and he fumbled. Because any human being, I'm sitting there screaming, if I know it's coming, the Packers know it's coming. I said it 1,000 times that game. And they fumbled, and then I turned it off in earnest, and I went downstairs. And then
it's not for good.
And then I turned it back on my phone, sat there and watched it. Like, fine. And then, like, I'm already exhausted. My blood pressure is probably like through the roof. My ears are ringing. Just like, ah! And then they kicked the field goal to win, because Caleb Williams is, if nothing else, a baller. Man, that guy made the pass over the middle, ran up, spiked the ball with 2 seconds left. That's all. That's all. And they did the kick. It's the exact same that happened the first time they played him, and the field goal was blocked. Exact same distance. Everything was the same. And this time they converted, so it was a successful season for the Bears, as they beat the Packers on the last game
in Lambeau.
In Lambeau for the first time in 10 years. The last quarterback to beat the Packers in Lambeau was Jay Cutler in 2015. I'm not trying to be funny. That's what it was.
We don't care that they lost Christian Watson and that Jordan Love both got injured.
That's life.
And they have Malik Willis out there.
Malik Willis played a great game.
He did.
Let him play. I don't care. Malik Willis was undefeated on the season until that game.
He doesn't get the L.
Oh, you're right. He doesn't get the L because he didn't start.
Yeah.
He's undefeated on the season.
So, yeah, y'all got that one.
I don't care. Would you have been crying if, well, it's probably a bad example.
Yes. Had they won? Had they won? They beat the Eagles,
let's say anytime the Giants beat the Cowboys or the Eagles,
after someone gets destroyed,
it don't matter. That's the game. He went up there, he got sandwiched, and he hit his elbow on a teammate's helmet. That happens all the time. He didn't come back because he's too fragile. And
could it be that he has better things to play for than beating the Bears in Lambeau Field?
Well, they were playing for 6th seed as opposed to 7th seed. Now they get to go face the Eagles,
which I don't mind. But I would really like for them to have Christian Watson.
Oh, he's out. He might be out all next year too.
He might be out all next year.
Yeah, so that was a non-contact injury too. It was just out in the field, and it was the other knee. It wasn't even the knee he had a brace on.
It was weird.
Yeah. So I feel bad for that dude, because that could be one of those things, much like because they said it's ACL and more.
It didn't look like it was that much more.
You don't know.
I've heard that, and that's just when my wife tore her ACL, that the doctor said a lot of the times when you tear your ACL, there's a meniscus tear in there that they don't usually even know until they go in there and figure it out. She didn't have it done, but he says when he goes in there and does ACLs, there's usually a meniscus tear in there as well. So maybe that's the end more, because it didn't look that
he was
crazy.
Just running.
He was just running, and then you see him pull up, you're like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah. That's not good. When you go down and you point to the knee, that's usually a bad sign, especially on a non-contact play.
He left on the stretcher when I seen him with his head down like this, and I was like, oh, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. So I don't care who plays for them, because the same people that there's a lot of this. The Bears won their Super Bowl this weekend, or like, yeah, but we didn't have anybody out there. It's always the excuse, like the Bears would have won if they didn't score more points, right? Like it's kind of the level of stuff are the same people that if the Bears were lost would have been just nonstop. It's like,
no, they would have said you lost to Malik Willis.
We own the Bears. Malik Willis beat other people this year too. Now, here's my favorite part of the season. The Bears, this is not good. The Bears' record against the NFC North was 1-5. Do you know what the Packers' record versus the NFC North was?
Oh, yeah, I think you showed me.
1-5. I love it.
That just lets you know that the NFC North was a little tough.
And the Packers were no better than the Bears in it.
They were a lot better than the Bears
in the whole course of the year, but versus just the NFC North. If the football season was only playing against your division, the Packers would be in the same position as the Bears, and they would both be 1-5.
Yes,
fighting for the first overall pick. That's all I'm saying.
You got too much hate in your heart for the Packers. Sir.
I hate them with a passion. Now the search for a head coach begins, and that's all I'm worried about.
A lot of teams search for a head coach begins.
And I'm gonna tell you what, whoever they hire, if it's not who I want, I'll be like, all right, I'll give it a chance. I mean, I gave Eberflus 3 years. First year was like, hey,
you gave him two. You fired Eberflus was your chant last year.
Oh, I know, and it was right. It was a deserved chant.
But you didn't give him 3. He
had the beard, so I gave him like 3 or 4 weeks this year. They were 4-2 at one point. I was like, maybe this is going to work, and they finished 5-12. They were 4-2 and finished 5-12.
Ooh, that's rough.
It is very rough.
It's a rough season.
It is a very rough
season.
Yes. But they're on the hunt, like lots of others. But they won't be interviewing Mike McCarthy, so that's a win too. Dallas won't let him. So good. I'm happy.
Well, they won't let him right now. If he's got 7 days, 7 days to get a contract from the Cowboys. If he doesn't get a contract, he could be interviewing this time next week. He could be named the Bears head coach.
Well, not this time.
After the interview. As soon as he interviews.
but I think the 15th is when he becomes available.
Oh, okay.
Today's the 7th. A week from now, we'll still be like, I have a feeling by this time next week, we'll be like, why did Jerry Jones re-sign Mike McCarthy?
Listen, everything Jerry Jones is doing is dumb.
I know.
Like the re-signing of Mike McCarthy should get the Stephen Jones the ability to take ownership rights from his senile old father, because it would make no sense. Like if you're going to keep him after the season that they just had, you could have.
But I mean, Dak Prescott was out for the whole year. They still won 7 games.
But then what would have it taken you for you to fire him?
Maybe he doesn't want to fire him.
But then you give him a contract.
But this is what Jerry Jones did with Dak. This is what Jerry Jones did with CeeDee Lamb. No, I am not saying it is smart. I'm just saying this is what he's done.
Oh,
this
man,
is what he does, man.
I think he thinks by dangling that contract out like a carrot.
He wants somebody to beg for it.
Yeah, like it's going to make you, oh, no, I don't have a job next year. I got to work twice as hard. No one cares, Jerry. Just like if you think that was going to work, you see how fast he got another interview. He was going to be interviewing today or not with today, but future. Like it doesn't work. Yeah. It doesn't work especially when they know they can just get another job.
Yeah.
Like that may work for the 6th round pick, but Dak Prescott never had a worry that he was going to find another job who was going to pay him $60 million.
Once he became a starter and one of the best starters in the league, there's not a team that wouldn't have paid him. Except for
CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. CeeDee Lamb doesn't have a worry in the world that he was going to get paid. No. Micah Parsons, not a worry in the world.
If Micah Parsons becomes a free agent, he makes a lot of money somewhere else.
You can't dangle that carrot out there. It's not even enticing. You're trying to give the guy a carrot. He's got a tomahawk steak in the other hand. I don't need your carrot. Need your carrot. So it's like I don't understand. Maybe it's old school thinking, and maybe that's maybe he's still stuck in the 90s, the mid 90s, and that's the way. But it doesn't work. That's not the environment that he's in, and his family, Steven, needs to let him know. That's not how we do business anymore, man.
It's not going to happen. Jerry Jones is going to go down with that ship, and it's going to be amazing. And the thing is, Mike McCarthy, if he became a free agent head coach, is one of the better prospects potentially for a team. I know you said it earlier.
I don't particularly like him, but
me neither. But I think he's
a head coach. Just same way the reason why he got the Cowboys job. He's one of the few PR holders out there that you can see there that has a championship.
He's got a championship.
On his resume says, I'm a champion coach. Yep. You're not going to find that as the head coach. You may find coordinators that were on championship teams doing other jobs, but you're not going to find another head coach out there. Bill Belichick is now with UNC. You're not going to find a head coach that I can think of right now that has Super Bowl winning head coach as their title.
Nope. Okay, so Mike McCarthy's offensive EPA play rankings as a head coach, as an OC and head coach. When he's with the Saints for 5 seasons, he was 16th. 49ers, 1 season, 32nd. Packers, he was 13 seasons. He was 3rd over that entire stretch. Cowboys, for 5 seasons, he was 12th. So he is above average to very good offensive coordinator, offensive-minded head coach. Teams seem to like him. Players seem to like him. I think eventually he just wears his time out thin. I know that's what happened in Green Bay. And they were happy to see him go, but he wasn't a bad coach for Green Bay when they let him go. So,
I just don't think he's going to be the coach that's going to get. He's proven that he may not even get you over the hump. Like, you could have a solid team, and he may not be able to coach you over a hump.
It's very possible, right?
But
as far as options go, like, would you rather have an experienced head coach with a proven track record of winning and being successful, or would you rather take a flyer on the not even the hot, like the 3rd hottest offensive coordinator name right now, right? Like,
you're right, but the thing is, if I'm gonna look at the positive he's done, I've also got to take a look at some of the negative he's done in the past. Of course, when you walk in the room, he's at any interview, he's gonna have his championship ring on, and that's gonna try to speak volumes for him. But you got to look deeper into that.
No, I agree.
What's the reason why you said that you don't want both Mr. 3rd offensive rating on your team?
That last play of that season with Ezekiel Elliott at center, no other offensive linemen, and Zeke gets run over, and then Dak gets run over, and it's like, what did you think was going to happen? Yeah, exactly. This is our last chance. What do you think was going to happen on this one? Ridiculous. That's why I don't want it.
That's what I'm saying. That's it. You got to take I know. Yes, if you're looking and you're comparing resumes, his resume is going to stand out. It's going to be one of those ones that stick to the top, come to the bubble to the top because of that championship. But besides
I think he's championship. He's a seasoned coach. He's been around for a long time. He has a track record of being good
on teams with a lot of talent.
Good. He's been good to he's been above average to good to very good in certain seasons. And every coach with good talent does well usually, right? So it's true, right? I'm just saying, like, I don't want him for the Bears, but if this were the case, if the Bears said, "Welcome our new head coach, Mike McCarthy," I would go, "All right, let's do it, Mike."
Of course.
Yeah. It's not what I want to do, but I don't run a football team, right? It's not my decision. I don't have to like it, but I have to live with it. So,
but Mike McCarthy comes across to me as a guy who the only 2 jobs he would take are the Bears and the Jets because of the talent that both teams have.
Okay, well then
not going to Tennessee.
Well, but I mean, now that's the truth. Now here's the thing, though. He's how many proven coaches go to do-over teams?
Proven? It's not. It doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen, right?
Ron Rivera went to the Washington, and they were basically doing over. And he didn't win a Super Bowl, but he was in a Super Bowl.
Sure.
So he did that. Besides that, though,
it's hard to think.
The
guys that go to the
do-over. Doug. Well, that's not it. Would you call Jacksonville a do-over? He had a quarterback.
They had Trevor Lawrence, right? Here's the number one pick that we took the year before.
I don't know if I call
even
it
Doug
quite
Peterson. Like, how many years has he been a head coach? Like prior to Jacksonville, it was only a few years.
Yeah, but wasn't he a Super Bowl winning head coach with the Eagles?
Coach, yeah.
So I forget he's out there too. So he's a Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's just what you want, what you expect out of it.
But you see what happens when you go from that team to a potential do-over team.
Yeah,
you're fired.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Win, so
if he doesn't want to go to a team that doesn't have talent, I can't say that I blame him.
Oh no, I can't say that either. Because why would you at that point in time? Your resume says I don't need to be starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Leave that to someone. Leave that to an OC.
Yeah. Leave it to one of these young guys that wants the opportunity to prove himself, right?
Correct.
And I can't say that I blame him because I would feel the same way.
Yeah. I'm not.
I'm getting too old for this shit, right? I can't.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, maybe Vegas. It's nice. It's open. Vegas is a city.
That roster is.
It's bad.
Like
it's really bad.
Like when they fired Antonio Pierce today, I was like, all right. Like they only gave him a year after saying you did such a great job with a better than our current shitty roster.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give you a worse roster, and when you do worse, they still won 5 or 6 games, right?
Yeah. But that threw them all out of
But I mean, what do you expect from the dude? Like the standards. Boy, I hate to be like this, but Gerard Mayo, and
Patriots.
Yep, and Antonio Pierce.
New England.
Both only given 1 year. What insane expectations are put on a black head coach to be successful? That is
and pretty much no win situations.
Yeah, they're both no win situations. There's no way Kraft could have said, "Boy, if this is a 10-win team." No one said that.
Yeah, no. The only thing I can say for both of them is both picks were shocks last year.
Yes.
Last year you were like, okay, maybe we'll see what goes on. So all I can think of is they had immediate buyer's remorse. It
could totally be that. Yeah, it could totally be that.
Because even Antonio Pierce did what he did with the Raiders last year. And he talked a good game, being from the Oakland area, being a fan growing up.
Yep.
He definitely talked the coach's game. Even I seen him on his interview, I think it was yesterday. Antonio Pierce hey, I understand football. He's like, I understand the game. We didn't win. They want to fire me. That's their choice. I get paid to win games. We didn't win games. If they want to fire me, sure. He gets it, right? He's good. But even then, you're like, Kenny X's and O's. And that was the part where we were like, I don't know if he can.
I don't know, but at the head coach position, if you're not in charge of one of the 2 facets or 3 facets of the game, then you don't necessarily have to X's and O. I mean, you do. You have to game plan. You have to have, but you're more of that CEO head coach, right? Where you're the leader, the organizer, the game manager, the decision maker. But it's up to your OC to call your plays. It's up to your DC to call your plays. Special teams does their thing, right? Unless you're that guy that's doing the dual role of head coach and coordinator.
But they both were defensive guys. Belichick called Gerard Mayo one of the smartest guys, football guys, and that's really probably why he got hired on the backing of Belichick. Did they do any other searches? I don't remember if they did.
Because remember they said that Mayo was the
coach in waiting,
the successor of the coach in waiting, which everyone was like, he is, and then he became the coach. And we're like, okay, right? Yeah. And he didn't have. I would say if he wowed this year and they overperformed, then they would have kept him for sure. I think
he did. I think he did. Yeah. I think Vegas had him at 3.5. They won 4.
Yeah, they're right? not. It's a very talent deficient.
They won the first game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes.
They came out and won their last game against
the Buffalo Bills.
Those are 2 good wins.
Yeah,
you would say both.
Yeah, but it's like he had no chance. He had no chance, and you could tell there was a point where he misspoke during a press conference where he kind of threw the team under the bus for not doing well or whatever. Like the moment you do that. Like,
you lost the locker room.
Yeah.
When you lose the locker room, that's one of the worst things you could do as a head coach.
And that might have happened
without the championships. Yeah. Like if you are a coach that has the resume, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
You can get away with it saying it once or twice. But if you ain't got the resume, if you lose that locker room, you can just give it up.
It's just tough that you see that the 2 coaches that were axed within a year are like,
Well, I understand. I believe me. I'm like, oh man, they fired the 2 black coaches. Yeah. Last year we got 2 white coaches fired. I think it was in a year. It's a thing.
Who got fired a year in last year?
The coach for the David Tepper did.
Oh yeah, and then the Broncos dude too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it happens, but it's optically, it's just like,
I know optically, but that's why I said I'm upset more about the fact that it's happening. That the fact that literally they are not giving any of these head coaches a chance.
No.
You have no opportunity to do, like, you're hiring guys with almost 0 experience
to take over a pile of flaming garbage and expect them to be successful, and when they're not, be mad at it. Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, year.
I can't. That's like with Thomas Brown for the Bears, who started off as pass game coordinator to offensive coordinator. Like, he even said that in his interview, his press conference. Is like, I don't know if it's ever happened before, but I had 3 different jobs this year. You can look it up. I don't have time to look it up. It's not a contest. But like, it's just like one of those things. It's like he took over a flaming dumpster that was rolling down a hill, and is expected to stop that flaming dumpster from crashing at the bottom of the hill. I mean, I think he did about as good as he can. Did he make some questionable decisions? Yep, that's learning on the job, I guess, right?
But that's learning on the job.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When you hired that guy, now I get it. He was an interim, and you had to put someone in the position. Yeah. But just in general, when you hire that guy, you have to give him some kind of rope, right? Yeah. You have to give him some kind of leeway. One, you don't want him coaching like his job really depends on it. You gave him a 3-year contract, right?
Yeah.
Let him
at least get a couple years out of it. Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Thomas Brown is he's still employed by the Bears, right? He was part of the coaching staff, so he's not like terminated. They'll still interview him, and like I like the guy. I feel like he's a good coach and maybe not a great offensive coordinator, but if he was under, say, an offensive coordinator as a head coach, I think that's an opportunity, right? Because then he's just in practice, he's running somebody else's offense and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the dude. I don't know if he'd be able to stick around on the staff, but it's just one of those things. Because he's like, they're going to interview him. I don't think he has a legitimate shot at the position.
I don't think he does. It's a good thing to do to interview him, but
yeah, give him that opportunity, and I think he's had opportunities to interview before. I think he should get another opportunity somewhere else, and he'll probably get on as a coordinator or, like the pass game coordinator, wherever he was, somewhere else, and get a chance to work his way back up. Because he wasn't bad. The Bears are broken, and they need somebody to come in and fix them. And they're hiring. That'd be awesome. They're interviewing Vrabel tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens. I don't know. Vrabel's my number 2 pick, and if he got, I'd be VREY or VRY. I'd be very happy with Vrabel as a hire. No problem with that.
Yeah. If I had to guess,
mm-hmm.
I'm putting it on the Patriots to get.
Yeah,
Vrabel.
probably. Yeah.
If I had to guess.
But if it was, let's say he comes in and he just wows the Bears. I mean, they have to satisfy. I mean, the Patriots already had their ceremonious Rooney Rule interviews today.
Oh,
they brought in Byron Leftwich, and they brought in, I can't remember who else. Somebody else that's not on a team right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they got those out of the way. So they're probably already as a contract waiting for Vrabel the moment he steps in the door, right? So who knows? It's a shame that that's the situation too. It's like, we got the
ceremonial.
We got the tedium of interviewing people that we don't want to hire out of the way.
We really don't want to. Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah. Week 17 happened. Week 18 happened though, right?
Yes.
Ravens destroyed the Browns, dismantled the Browns on Saturday, and Derrick Henry gets to 1,900 yards. Lamar Jackson gets to 4,000 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, 900 yards rushing, 4 interceptions, a 119 passer rating. And people are like, I don't know how
he's the club of one.
I don't know. I don't know if he's the MVP or not.
They said he just created his own club.
Yes.
44 900.
It's just like he had 41 touchdowns passing and 4 interceptions. That ratio itself is bonkers.
Yes, it's the best in ever.
Yeah.
Touchdown. It's the for the 30 touchdowns, over 30 touchdowns, minimum of 30 touchdowns. It's the best turnover to interception ratio in NFL history.
Yeah.
With a minimum of 30 touchdowns.
Yeah, maybe he's the MVP or not. Bears also requested to hire or interview Todd Monken as well, the Baltimore offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. So then the Steelers and the Bengals go out. Steelers had nothing to play for. Bengals had everything to play for. Bengals win 19-17. And then hope that Miami loses, and somehow the Chiefs win.
Somehow the Chiefs win.
Somehow that's what they're hoping for. That's what they're waiting for, right?
But somehow to the 14-1 team or 15.
Well, I mean they're resting start. Well, the Chiefs, there's absolutely no mystery. The Chiefs and the Bengals hate each other.
Yes,
absolutely hate each other.
Correct.
The Chiefs have no reason to play anybody because nothing is on the line for them whatsoever. No. They're 15-1. They could lose 4 games and still have the home field advantage or whatever it is. They don't care. But then we haven't gotten there yet because the Panthers beat the Falcons in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I actually appreciate this because I understand this is fandom. Panthers fandom have labeled Bryce Young the Carolina Reaper because he ended the Falcons' hope for the playoffs. He ended somebody else's hope for the playoffs. Like, okay, he's won 3 games and there's 4 games in his career. Let's pump the brakes. He's been good though. He's been good.
I saw since his benching.
Yeah.
If you count the game, he's been a top 5 quarterback in the league.
He was awesome. He was awesome. Good I'm very excited for that. Like
I said, top 5. They said yes.
Yeah.
He had like 20 touchdowns in
really
the games he's played. Yeah.
He was really good.
With multiple games with over 400 yards passing.
He was very good on Sunday. He had 251 and 3, but on 25 of 30, like he was very good. They were good, and they won in overtime, which was good too. I like that. Commanders beat the Cowboys on the last minute or so of the game. So good. I
saw somebody was talking about we wanted Trey Lance in the game. We see why we don't have Trey Lance in the game.
I looked at his numbers and he wasn't doing bad.
Let's talk about Jerry Jones not giving Cooper Rush his incentives,
and then saying I didn't know about that. What a liar! Absolute
liar. You are the general manager of the team, and you own it. There are people telling you, sir,
yeah,
these are the people up for their incentives this week. It has to.
Yes. There's no way he didn't know because the rest of the world knew.
And it's your job to know.
Yes. So he knew.
They knew.
So full of shit. Yeah.
And he would have made an extra $250,000.
Yes. And
they took it from him.
Yeah. What a bad.
Because he had two ones. He had two incentives. So if he did over 45% of the snaps, it's an extra 250,000. And if he did 52% of the snaps, it would be another 250,000, breaking the total of 500,000. He just needed that game to get over 52% of the snaps. He just needed that game. And that would have did it. They could have benched him at halftime. He still might have gotten it.
Yep, it's just Jerry Jones being an asshole. That's all.
It is. Oh.
And when he say he didn't know, he's 100% a liar. 100% a liar. There's no way he didn't know, because it's his job to know, like you said.
It's just it's that karma though. That's why I love it, because it's gonna get him. Oh, it's been getting them. They've been got.
Yeah.
They've been got
since 1992.
No, they won in 95, 94, 95. This the last winning season, I believe.
Yeah,
Super Bowl.
Texans beat the Titans unceremoniously.
Whopped them. I really needed the Titans to win.
I mean, the Texans threw Davis Mills out there. You should have known that they were going to win, right? Did you see that picture of Davis Mills at the goal line where he's face first and he's like curved over like the letter C? He's like dove face first and his feet came up over his head. It looked like it hurt. He wasn't hurt, but it looked like it hurt. They beat the Titans. Will Levis played. I don't really care. I didn't look at anything.
I cared.
I know you wanted the Titans out of there. Titans end up at 3-14, and because they have the strength of schedule of 522, they have the second pick.
First pick. Yeah, first pick.
Yep. And the Browns, who lost earlier, have a strength schedule of 536, so they have the second pick. And your Giants have the strength of schedule of 554. So the
Giants have the strength of schedule of a team that should have been a Super Bowl champion. I'm looking at the strength of schedules in the season.
Yep.
We were third. The third highest strength of schedule of all teams.
Yeah.
We didn't deserve that. You
guys were tied with the Bears at 554 for strength of schedule. San Francisco had a 564 strength of schedule, which is kind of nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only one that's higher, 564.
Yep.
Now the Bears.
Next year it's going to be worse for us.
Yeah, because the East and the North play each other, so you got that. The Bears also have the AFC North too, and you guys have the AFC West.
Yeah, I don't know which was worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Would I rather see Lamar, Burrow, and Mike Tomlin? I'm just going to throw the coach out there. or Mahomes, Herbert, and Sean Payton?
Yeah.
But the ones to get throw the coach out there.
Yep.
It's tough.
I don't know. That is tough.
I don't want to see Burrow and Lamar. I tell you that though.
No. Colts. Oh, and then Burrow finishes the season with the highest. So the Bengals are the first team ever to have this: the quarterback with the most yards passing, the receiver with the most yards receiving,
everything,
and the defensive player with the most sacks, and Trey Hendrickson. The first team ever to have that, and they didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, did they fire the DC yet? He should be fired.
Yeah. They fired the DC. Colts beat the Jags in overtime. Whoop-de-doo. Patriots beat the Bills. They didn't even play Drake May. They threw out.
He looked better.
Joe Milton III.
Yeah, they're 6th-round pick.
Yeah, they're like, we need to have.
He looked good out there.
Well, the Bills were also running their third team out there too. But yeah, I mean, the Patriots weren't trying to win that game, because why not have Drake May out there if you're trying to give him more snaps? Buccaneers. So this is my favorite part of Sunday. After the Bears won, then I switched over to the Bucs game to see if Mike Evans would. Well, I wasn't going to switch over, but I was watching the updates on ESPN, the app, right? And the Saints punted the ball away with a minute left in the fourth. And I'm like, oh, Mike Evans needs 5 yards. I think he gave it to Mike Evans. So I turned it on, and lo and behold, Baker and the first team offense go out there for one play. The whole world knows where it's going. It goes to Mike Evans. He gets 7 yards, and he gets the 11th consecutive season of 1,000 yards. And he did that. That was awesome. He was incredibly happy.
Did you see Baker Mayfield's talk
No.
about the interview at the end? So they asked him how do you feel about Bucky Irving going in to score that touchdown.
Yeah.
With like 5 minutes to go in the game. Because they were like, no, get down, don't score the touchdown. He was like, well, I guess Mike Evans has to play another 11 years. That's what he was thinking. He was like, there's no way we're going to get him the opportunity. And it sucks. But yeah, they were able to go out there and get him. He's like, yeah, I guess he's got to play another 11 years.
That's awesome. I like Baker Mayfield. I like that Bucs team. I don't think they're good. I mean, they're good. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're a real contender. But who knows? Maybe they get hot.
They weren't last year and they won one.
Maybe they get hot and win a couple games in the playoffs, and that'd be nuts.
They won one last year. They beat the Eagles last year.
Yep.
In that first round.
Yep.
So and now this year they play. This game's very winnable for them. I feel.
Who do they got?
They play Washington.
Oh yeah, I think it's winnable too.
That's a very winnable game for them.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially at home, makes it easier. Broncos, face the Chiefs.
Yes.
Right. I don't think like the Chiefs were the road team, so they had to fly people out there. They may have like flew out like a different team. It was not the Chiefs. Like
they like children put on helmets and just put them.
They got like an Andy Reid lookalike on the sidelines. Like I don't know.
Just two kids on top of each other's shoulders. Just
yep. 38-0. The Broncos win. The Broncos clinch their playoff berth. And boy, I really like when I was looking at how our predictions turned out. I'm gonna tell you what, if I didn't pick for straight laughs, I would have crushed you this week.
Well, I had to pick losers. I had to pick people. I had to pick different.
Man, I picked the Patriots. I had good picks this week. Chargers beat the Raiders. Chargers finished 11-6. They are the 6th seed in the AFC. Good for them. Rams ran out their third string against the Seahawks and lost. Dolphins needed that win. Because they were playing St. Louis Broncos. Like, we just need to win this game. Maybe we have a chance. They lose 32-20 to the Jets.
Tyreek Hill talks about not playing, wanting to be out.
Tyreek Hill. This is the first season Tyreek Hill has not played in the playoffs at the end of his.
That's what he said. Yep.
And the moment he faces the smallest amount of diversity, I'm out. I can't do this anymore.
I always play in the playoffs.
Okay.
Well, you didn't play because you stunk this year.
Yeah, you guys were bad.
You weren't very good either. So, I don't know.
Cardinals mollywopped the 49ers 47-24. Cardinals did play their starters. 49ers did not. Whatever. I don't care. Kyler Murray threw 4 touchdown passes. So, good season for him. Bears, for some reason, are interviewing the offensive coordinator for the Cardinals for their head coaching position. It's got to be just
it's 12 plus people on the list of interviews.
There's lots of names.
Mike Kafka from the Giants.
There's Mike Kafka. There's a guy, I can't remember what his name is. He was a college coach, can't remember the team, and now he's the Denver's executive of player personnel. They're interviewing him. Whatever. They're not interviewing Pete. They're not interviewing Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll said last week,
coming back.
"Hey, I'd go coach for the Bears. I'd come out of retirement for that." Pete Carroll's also 77
years old, something.
Yeah. And then the game of the week. We've been waiting all night for Sunday night. Waiting all week. The Lions destroyed the Vikings at home. Just destroyed. Jameer Gibbs had 4 touchdowns.
with his Al Bundy game.
Yes.
With touchdowns in a single game.
Jameer Gibbs is really
wearing that
good.
Detroit Lions jersey.
He's really good, Jameer Gibbs. Since Montgomery's been hurt, he's just been a workhorse machine. I mean, it helps that he's like 24 years old or whatever, too.
I told you, if I had to pick which one I was keeping, it would be Jameer Gibbs.
Oh, yeah, for sure, 100%. Remember when
they said Montgomery might come back?
Yeah.
Might be available. I'm seeing they're starting to get better news on the injury front.
We'll see. But remember when the Lions, they drafted Jameer Gibbs and Jack Campbell? And everybody's like, what a crazy first round. Jack Campbell's been really good, too, linebacker. But Jameer Gibbs has been outstanding. So the Lions get the first number 1 seed in the NFC, first time ever in their history. They win 15 games, first time ever in their history. Well, granted, there were only 16 games for a long time. They never went 15-1.
Difficult to get 15. Yes.
Yep. And now the 14-3 Vikings are now on the road to face who? Who are they facing? Oh, they're facing the Rams.
Yeah, I'm not that. I'm not too worried.
They're going to Los Angeles to face the Rams, and instead of having to go to Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers. So it was an interesting week. A lot of nobodies played, but I still believe that and the Bengals have asked the NFL to do an inquiry to see if the Chiefs threw the game.
Okay, yeah. We lost 38-0, right? What do you mean throw the game?
Well,
like if we didn't put our best team out there, yes. Like what do you like throw the game? What does that mean?
Carson Wentz was 10 for 17 for 98 yards. Their leading rusher was Carson Steele. They had two Carsons on the field at most of the time. I'll give you, without looking, $100 if you tell me who the Kansas City Chiefs leading receiver was.
Oh man, it means it wasn't any of the people we would think it was. Juju Smith-Schuster. No, he's injured.
Nico Remigio.
Oh, nope. A billion guesses. I didn't even know that guy existed until just now.
You could do like a random like letter jumbler. And I don't know if you get this. Nikko Remigio. And then second was Peyton Hendershot.
Oh, they went deep down in the barrel for that one.
Samaje Perine had a catch for 13 yards. He had also had a carry for 1. Justin Watson had a catch for 5 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster had a catch for 4.
He's not injured. Okay.
Carson Steele had 2 catches, and Noah Gray had a catch. That's it. They had nothing going on.
They played pretty much people. Noah Gray is the guy who's getting all the tight end passes.
They played people, yes, they did.
Juju Smith-Schuster's there. Only thing is, it's from starting wide receivers, Worthy and Hopkins, and Kelsey, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
they played people. They
didn't play Patrick Mahomes.
They did not play Patrick Mahomes. Why would he?
Yeah, Denver played Bo Nix, though.
They had to. They were playing for.
We played our starter. Why don't you guys play your starter? Well, Broncos don't care. Broncos are fine. It's the Bengals. The Bengals are upset.
Yep, the Bengals are upset. Oh,
that makes that Bengals Week 1 loss to the Patriots the worst loss they could have taken all season.
But it's Week 1, so it shouldn't make a difference.
It shouldn't. But the Patriots, that's a real painful loss when you reflect back on the season that was.
It's a painful win for the Patriots. If they don't win, if they lose that game, they got the number 1 pick. Yeah. it hurt both teams.
Yep. If they could only do a do-over, I'm sure they would gladly flip. So that happened last week. I went 10-6. Mm-hmm. You went 9-7. Mm-hmm. Now here's the thing.
Damn Bears and Packers. They got me.
I picked the Vikings over the Lions because I thought that would be hilarious if the Lions were in first place all year and then lost. I also picked the Chiefs over the Broncos because I thought it would be hilarious. So that means I also picked I picked the Dolphins over the Jets because I thought the Dolphins make the playoffs would be hilarious. I picked a lot of hilarious options.
But you wouldn't have picked the Jets.
No, I wouldn't have, right?
Of all the picks that's the pick you wouldn't have picked, was the Jets.
But I picked the Bears knowing they would win. I also picked the Giants thinking they would win because I think it'd be hilarious in there. I picked the Falcons because I thought it'd be hilarious as well. If the Falcons got
I knew to pick the Panthers.
Yes, you did. You were very adamant about that. Yeah. So if I wouldn't have gone for the lols, I could have had 12 wins this last week. It's all right. But that brings the total to you have 170 to 90 and 99 to my 172 and 97.
All right. I think the playoffs is going to be chalk. Well, no, it may not be.
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's good.
And
okay.
I'll pick first because I'm in the lead.
Okay.
And that way you can react to my choices if you so choose. Mm-hmm. But remember, there's 3 weeks of playoffs and then the Super Bowl. But you got to catch up 2 games.
Yes.
First one we have 3:30 on CBS and Paramount Plus. The Chargers. Who's got better than us? Nobody. They're going to Houston to face the Texans. I think the Texans are a bit of a mess of a team. The Chargers are 3-point favorites on the road.
I don't want to pick. I don't want to pick the Chargers, but I am.
I'm taking the Chargers.
I too am going to take the Chargers.
Now, then, also on Saturday, we have the Steelers going to the Ravens. They played last week. They're playing again this week. The Ravens are currently 9.5-point favorites. The Steelers have losers of 4 straight. 4 straight.
That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate they got to play them.
Yes,
because
we're both Steelers fans here, but we really like Lamar. We're also in this season, right? Happened last year too. There is no quarterback better on the face of the earth than Lamar Jackson. We were there last year with the same statement, and we're like, and Josh Allen's really, really good too. And then it's Patrick Mahomes. Oh yeah, season. Oh yeah, I'm gonna throw touchdowns too, guys. And so we're there again. Lamar Jackson had probably one of the greatest seasons a quarterback has ever had, and we're still debating if he's the MVP with Josh Allen, right? So we got Lamar and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, first time ever in football, 2 running backs run for greater than 1,900 yards because he eclipsed 1,900 yards this last week. Ravens, 9.5-point favorites. I'm taking the Ravens.
I'm taking the Ravens as well, even though Pitt has given them a run for their money.
Boy, I'm going to tell you
what. Yeah.
And now people will say, well, Lamar just doesn't win the playoffs, which is kind of true. He's had some rough goes.
He made it to the AFC Championship last year.
Well, I mean, because they had to bye. And then,
but I mean, he still won
a game, right? Yeah. So, and it was close, but that's always been the knock on Lamar. He just doesn't do well in the.
That's everyone. There's only one team that gets to go.
Exactly. That was always my argument with Tom Brady. It's like, yeah, we didn't win any championships. Well, Tom Brady won every fucking championship that happened, right? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, they were always in the AFC Championship game. Sticking in the AFC, the Broncos go to Buffalo. AccuWeather predicts 29 degrees. I don't think it matters because the Broncos and the Bills. The Bills are 9-point favorites. I think the Bills win by 2.5 touchdowns minimum. I got the Bills.
I do too. I need some place to get my wins. This isn't it. This isn't the week. I'll figure it out some other time.
Here's your chance. Philadelphia hosts the Packers at 3:30.
I truly don't believe that the Packers are going to win with the
Packers are your Super Bowl pick?
They are. So I have to continue to pick them. But they got injured. They got so injured last week.
Yeah, Jordan Love's supposedly fine. He just had a stinger on his elbow.
But Christian Watson, they number one receiver,
Christian Watson was out for that was his first week back. Yes.
That's unfortunate. All right. You're right.
I'm going Eagles. There's nothing you could shake me off the Saquon train.
Of course. Listen, had my pick not been Green Bay,
Jalen Hurts is still in the concussion protocol.
He is. Green Bay is my pick because they are my Super Bowl pick. So I kind of have to. When you said that, I was like, "Oh, they are my Super Bowl pick."
You can't abandon them now.
I can't abandon them now.
Right now,
just because it's close.
Matt LaFleur goes, "Oh, Harland stuck with us." He feels it. He's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he knows Alderaan blows up. Matt LaFleur knows you stuck with him through thick and thin. Now, then 7:00. We've been waiting all week for Sunday night, this is not the premier game of the playoffs. The Buccaneers host the Commanders. You would think they would put the Eagles, Packers there or the Bills, Broncos, but they didn't.
I would think Pitt, Baltimore would be better than.
Yeah, but that's on Prime game. Though. That's 7:00 on Saturday on Prime. We get to see what's his face with the beard, and what's his face with the zip up, and then what's his face.
I thought we were done with Monday Night Football. We still got
we're not done. We still get a Prime game. Hooray! God, I don't like their production either. And then we got Monday night on, but we get the Buccaneers and the Commanders. Bucks are 3-point favorites at home. I'm picking the Bucks. I can't sway from the Bake Show now.
I know. I'm the same way. I don't know when I'm going to get my chance to catch up. Right now, we've picked the exact same.
You got the Packers. That's one game. You got to chip away, I guess. Now here's a game that might be interesting. Might be The Rams host the Vikings. The Rams are 1 point, or I'm sorry, 1 point dogs at home. Vikings are 1 point favorites on the road in the dome. I don't know. Like, I like Matt Stafford. I like Puka Nacua. I like Cooper Kupp. They got some good rookies on the defensive line. Jared Verse and their guy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I like the Rams.
Let's give you so we get it on. I am going to pick Tampa Bay as well.
Okay.
So that we both. So I don't think I actually verbally said it.
I already had it written down. So
yeah, I think
Okay. So we have this game.
Yes, I'm going Minnesota.
I know you are.
You're going Rams. You said Rams. I'm going Minnesota.
I haven't gone Rams officially yet.
Okay, I'm going Minnesota.
But I'm thinking of the reasons why I go Rams.
You got a lot of good reasons to go
They're
Rams.
at home. Matt Stafford is still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's
got two in McVay.
That's the reason why at McVay at home with playoff with guys who are playoff tested.
Yeah.
That is why I would pick them. But I saw you were going that route, so that's why I went Minnesota. Because had you going Minnesota, I was going Rams.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one game where the road team has the best chance to win, I think.
You would think.
But I also had the Chargers too. The Chargers and the Vikings are the two like road dog teams.
Oh yeah, the Chargers. Are the Chargers a road dog or are they a road?
No,
favorite?
They're road favorite. But, being on the road in the playoffs should make you the dog.
The fact that it's not shows you that it's really not that close talent wise.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams. I am.
Yeah, I figured you was. That's why I took. Had you took Minnesota, I was taking the Rams because I like McVay. Yep. I like Stafford in that situation. Yep. Kyron Williams is good.
Yep.
Puka is good.
Yep.
They still have defense. It's not as great as Aaron Donald was there. No. Still pretty decent. Minnesota's going to have to win with their defense.
And that's how they won a lot this year. But Sam Darnold's also been good at times.
Sam Darnold's been good.
Been very good. Well, I mean, like how good has he been? I got to pull out the numbers because he's been. You look at the cumulative Sam Darnold stats for the season.
4,319 yards passing.
Yep, 35 touchdowns.
35 touchdowns and 12 interceptions.
Yeah. And what's his rating? 102.5 rating. He's been really good this year. I mean, it definitely helps to have Justin Jefferson and
Addison
and Jordan Addison and
Hockenson. Not Josh Hockenson. But who's their running back? They got Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones from Green Bay. They have a really solid team. The defense gives other teams fits, but if you can handle the blitz, it helps, right?
Yes.
I mean, shoot, like they beat him up, and it wasn't even Jared Goff that beat him up last week. It was all Jahmyr Gibbs. Jared Goff didn't do nothing, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the Rams in this game.
The Rams not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. I was going to in this game. I was going with whoever you didn't go with.
But I'm not surprised one bit if the Vikings win though.
Nope. That's why I would have felt good either way. I was definitely talking myself into the Rams, but because I thought you was going to go Vikings.
Nope.
But as I heard you talking, I was like, yeah. And you know me, when all else fails, I always go with the coaches. Even though I think, what is his name? Not McDaniels. What is it?
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell. I think Kevin O'Connell's a good coach.
I think he's and it really bugs me that all three teams in NFC North have really good coaches right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Matt LaFleur is probably one of the best coaches in football. I think Kevin O'Connell is probably going to win the Coach of the Year this year. I think Dan Campbell is just a madman, and
he's definitely a madman.
I guarantee whatever 64 guys that are on that roster would form a single file line and just run themselves into a wall so they could create a hole for him to walk through. Right? Like I guarantee that. And I don't know. They're going to be tough to beat, the Lions.
Yep.
But I think they're beatable.
They are. Because of Dan Campbell. Their strength is also their weakness.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because I think the team is probably top down better than a lot of teams in the NFL. All the teams in the NFL. Yep. Top down. But Dan Campbell is both the reason they win and possibly the reason they lose. I just don't want him to do nothing stupid. But he can't. He can't help him. That's who he is. And I wouldn't call it stupid. It's just risky.
Yeah. I love Dan Campbell, and I also love that meme of Dan Campbell. Have you ever seen it where he's on The Price is Right, and he's spun the wheel and it's on 95. He goes, "I'm gonna go again, Drew." Like he's gonna. Got that one chance. Got to get $1, right? That's what it feels like. That's what the Dan Campbell experience is.
Oh yeah,
you gotta live with it.
You gotta live with it.
It still drives me nuts though, as an outsider. Like I have no connection to that team other than they exist and I watch them. And it drives me insane sometimes. It's like you could kick the field goal; it's totally fine. It's acceptable in this situation. You don't have to go for it on fourth on your own 35. You don't have to do that. You can punt. It's okay. But
Nick Sirianni's like that too.
Yes, he
is.
So
if those two get together.
But here's the thing about Nick Sirianni.
They may not punt the ball on fourth down.
Nick Sirianni is the biggest douchebag on the face of the earth, though. Dan Campbell is a likable, insane guy, right? Like I love his energy. I love how he talks. I love everything. He is a football coach. When I think of football coach, I think of Dan Campbell. That man is a football coach, and not Matt Eberflus.
Not even with the beard.
Even with the beard, he was never a football coach.
He probably shaved that beard. He's like, "Don't give me this beard."
Yeah. He hasn't sold his house yet. Nobody's reported that he's sold his house yet. But I mean, he's still getting paid by the Bears, so he probably doesn't care. He's not gonna
rush just yet.
I'm trying to think like who would hire him. He'd have to be a coordinator somewhere.
Yeah, not as a head coach right now.
No, nobody's
not as a head coach.
He'll never be a head coach again.
Maybe.
There's no maybe. He'll never be a head coach again.
All you have to do is hitch your wagon to a coach that does well and get you there. You'll get another chance.
Yeah, I mean Matt Nagy's getting a chance. Looks
See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You hook your wagon to a coach.
The thing that's funny about Matt Nagy is he was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs when he got hired by the Bears, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody was so excited about that because look at the offense they ran. Well, they ran what's his face's Andy Reid's offense, and Matt Nagy didn't call plays until like the end of the season. They lost some of those games, and so no one was surprised. Now it'll happen again. And Eberflus will get hitched to somebody and do well. Yep. Matt Nagy's getting a chance again. He's the offensive coordinator. He doesn't call the plays though. He's got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to make him look good.
Yeah, he'll get another call, and Eberflus will hitch a wagon as the defensive coordinator with somebody, and he'll get an opportunity. Him and McCarthy will tag team.
That would be one man that is just mayonnaise on white bread, and the other man that probably eats just mayonnaise on white bread.
Oh man, that's the ultimate. The Trinity. If it's Mike McCarthy as head coach, Eberflus is the DC, and Mike Kafka is the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
I'll take that right now. As long as it's not on my team. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, that's better than what the Bears had this last year.
Because Eberflus is in his right position. He's not head coach.
Yeah. Do you remember? Let's go in the Wayback Machine to the Hard Knocks, where they had Nick Saban in talking, and I said, yes. You can't let Nick Saban leave. Don't let him leave. You got to hire him right now. I said it then. I still mean it.
He needed someone. You should have just had Nick Saban talking to Caleb. Just, Caleb, I got something to tell you. Come into my office, and it's just Nick Saban on speakerphone. He's not even in there. He's just on. Hey, Caleb, this is Nick.
Oh God, it sucks. God, I hate it so much. All Nick Saban did was then Nick Saban just spent the year sitting next to Pat McAfee on, which I. For all of his shortcomings, mostly his Aaron Rodgers cling, I really enjoy Pat McAfee. Especially when he analyzes NFL football. I like his takes on NFL football. He's always on NFL Network on their pregame. And he comes in and he has like 4 or 5 points. And I really enjoy him. I think he's a goofball. I just don't like
his relationship with
Aaron Rodgers because he
yes.
platforms that moron to say the most idiotic things, and never once says, maybe that's not right. He never says that. He just laughs and nods along. That son of a bitch. He's a cash cow, though. Can't blame him.
Oh, yeah. You could say that Aaron Rodgers helped get him that deal with ESPN.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why he has no problem paying him $3 million a year to do Tuesday interviews. That's what he pays him. Aaron Rodgers paid $3 million
to hear him say stupid stuff.
Just go on and say the dumbest shit possible.
Well, he got paid a whole TV show, sir.
I know.
So whatever Netflix paid to hear him.
There's a part of me that even if I lose, I'll watch it just so I have something to talk about.
I really don't want to see it, but
I don't either. But I've seen Aaron Rodgers haters online talk about what a riot it is to watch, because he is the most self-important person on the face.
That's why I don't want to watch it. It feels so cringeworthy. The entire thing. I'm just
it is.
I know it is.
I guarantee there is a scene in that show. I haven't seen it yet. I didn't even watch the trailer. I can't watch it.
I saw part of the trailer. I had to turn fast.
I guarantee there is a scene where he's shirtless, sitting under a tree, playing an acoustic guitar, singing stuff.
Would you go acoustic guitar, or do you want to go some sort of
bongo
weird
drums?
Percussion? Some weird percussion instrument.
Bongo drums.
It could be bongos. It could be some like some weird percussion.
He does music somewhere in this show, and it's like, I've been working on this one, and it's some cringeworthy like
Gregorian chant along with it.
I bet you. No, I bet you it's a song about Danica Patrick. Remember, you used to date Danica Patrick. It's his. You ought to know, like Alanis Morissette talking about what's his face from Full House. He's got this cringeworthy song about he treated her wrong, and she's crazy too. I don't know if you've seen her recently. She says some insane things as well. So they were maybe made for each other. They just didn't. Maybe it's like they were too similar. They couldn't handle each other's presence.
Did you hear? I saw an interview with him, and he did something that was kind of funny. Aaron Rodgers. There was talk when he basically did the dude from, why can't I think of that movie? Tropic Thunder, with Ben Stiller's character. They in the interview, someone goes to him and goes, "Hey, Aaron, we heard from someone you cared about, who cares about
people
you.
Who are close to you.
People close to you said that this might be your final game. How do you feel?" And he goes, "You found people that were close to me." He basically took it exactly from what's his name, but I thought that was pretty funny to bring that, to reference that at that moment. I was like, all right, I'll give you that. That was good comedic timing.
But it's also funny because his family hates him. His family disowned him, like they didn't want nothing to do. So it's like, it's got double meaning.
Truth to that. Yeah. Yes.
Nobody likes me. You found people that like me? No.
Is it Pat?
Yeah, yeah,
probably. It was Pat. It told him immediately. Oh, someone close? It was Pat.
Because Ian Rappaport reported that people close to Aaron Rodgers say that this is probably his last game as a Jet. And Ian Rappaport,
as a Jet?
Yeah.
Not as a player?
General, just as a Jet. So don't know if he'll be done yet or not. But Ian Rappaport also goes on the McAfee show quite a bit too. So, or he used to before he went on ESPN. And I don't know if he can now because he's on NFL Network. Whatever. Who knows? All I know is Adam Schefter does not, or Rodgers doesn't like Adam Schefter. Because remember, Aaron Rodgers, Schefter texted him to see if he was going to the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers replied to him, "Lose this number."
Oh, yeah.
So I don't like Adam Schefter either. So maybe that's a good. Maybe I have to. Maybe the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Then does that mean you like Aaron Rodgers?
No, it had to be the other way.
Okay.
It had to be Schefter, I guess. I still think when Schefter blew out his ACL doing the Gritty on live TV, might have been like peak
TV, peak television.
That dude's cringe anyway. Adam Schefter, like, I think ESPN forces their people to be ridiculous. Like, it feels like it. Like, you got the more ridiculous, the better. And now that like McAfee is like their flagship, they're forcing everybody to be more McAfeean.
You can either be two ways on ESPN. The people that get paid the most, you can either be Pat McAfee or it could be Stephen A. Smith. You don't got to know in between. He's getting paid.
Here's the thing, though, right? They are on the same spectrum, on the same end, right? Right? They're way down on like on the shades of like sportscaster. They're both in the insane territory.
They are, but they're insane. They're
different insanes, right?
Yes,
they're the same coin, right? One's heads, one's tails, and that's it, right? They're both insane. I don't care much for Stephen A. Smith, but
they're paying him like ESPN is his middle name.
Yes,
like he's the coach.
Yeah. He must do something for him. He must be making a lot of money for him because I don't get it. I find him obnoxious, and
I think he thinks he knows. When it comes to basketball, he knows his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to every other sport, he can probably shut up.
Yeah, and that's the way a lot of people that know a lot about a thing are. They think because they're really smart at one thing, they're smart at everything, right? So, shoot, I know I'm an idiot half the time. So, Stephen A. Smith, though, and this makes me think of that commercial where they're talking about different, talk about ESPN Bet because ESPN has their own sports book now, right? And they have the Stevens A list, and
yes,
like how gross that is, right? Like. It's a network that could, under its own power, shift betting lines.
Betting lines, yes.
And they have a sports book.
Yes.
And all their shows now are prefaced with betting lines.
Mm-hmm.
Drives me nuts. I don't like it. Don't like it, sir.
All right. So I guess it's a minor gripe. It has nothing to do with football.
Okay.
What? I don't understand baseball's off season. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so trades start happening almost immediately after the off season.
Yes.
But when are the contracts getting done? When is like?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, as far as I knew, this was Pete Alonso's last year with the Mets, right? But every time I'm like, hey, when's he getting a contract with the Mets? When can they start giving him contracts now?
Yes.
What is he? So is he a free agent?
The moment the season is done, anything can happen. Right?
Anything?
Like out number 3 of the World Series, anything can happen because it does. And then they have winter meetings where a lot of trades happen.
A lot of trades happen. So there's no real.
All the big free agents are gone. Like they're all like locked up. I mean, we're a month away from spring training.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the baseball off season, because the season is so long. The season technically, if you go from spring training, it goes February to November.
Yes.
That is a long season.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, they only have those three weeks. There's 3 months in there where anything can happen. Anything does happen.
I'm just like, what? Like, I'm so used to even basketball, even though basketball's free agency period is like literally a week after the season. It's like, all right, season, because the season ends in late June. It's like late June is the first time you can do free agency, or you can start having conversations with people. July starts it, and then there's a draft.
Then you got the draft, and then when does the preseason start? Like October.
Preseason starts October, but they start doing summer league games in July. So your rookies that you just drafted are already playing in the summer league immediately. So, but at least it's a season. At least I know what that baseball is like. What just happened? When can we got Juan Soto? Okay, so what's next? Like, hey.
and the baseball draft happens during the season.
Yeah, so weird.
Yeah,
so weird.
Baseball is structurally ridiculous. And it doesn't matter, like the draft doesn't need to be a big event, even though they're trying to turn it into a multi-day event and have, like, because 99.99%
of those players aren't going to play.
Aren't going to play the next season.
Aren't going to play.
Very rarely do you get like an A-Rod.
Some might go back to college.
Yeah. Or go to college instead of going, like they're high schoolers and like, I'll go to college. Or some go to football. or whatever, right? So it's like a lot of those guys won't ever see a professional field,
or get drafted and go, no contract gets signed, and they're just out. They're just like, that's what happened with Kumar Rocker when the Mets drafted him. They couldn't get a deal, couldn't get the paper, so he went back in the draft and got drafted by a team last year. And he was no longer a Met. I was like, oh, come on, I really wanted you, Kumar.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Baseball's weird like that, and because there's no like football, right? Football, you have once the Super Bowl happens, there's like 2 weeks, and then you have the combine, and then 2 weeks after that you have the free agency
starts
period,
to open up,
and then 2 weeks after that the draft happens, and then we're in April, right? And then 2 weeks after that you have it's almost like this. There's like never a gap in football related content. Baseball, like, because the season's so long, teams that are bad, fans check out mid-June.
August.
Yeah.
Your July after the All-Star break. Really, like you said, mid-June for me as a Mets fan. If the Mets didn't get hot in June, I was already checked out. We had such a horrible May. It was like, all right, we're done.
Oh God, I gotta find this thing. MLB.com put out this. I gotta share this. MLB. They picked their next 10 World Series. Who will be in them? Predicting the World Series winners from
Dodgers.
I'm gonna share it here. Oh, they had a graphic I saw. Why can't I just get a graphic? Okay, they're predicting in 2015 Royals over the Mets. Wait, this is 2015. Wait a minute.
I'm gonna say that's 2015. I'm gonna say that's what happened. Don't give me.
Wait a minute. Who will win the next 10 World Series? Do I have to actually watch something? I want the dang 2025 Dodgers over the Tigers.
Okay.
2026 Mets over the Red Sox. I can't believe I read 2015 like this is breaking news.
I was like, wait till you
hear this. They're predicting what's already happened. 2026 Mets over the Red Sox.
That'd be great.
2027 Phillies over the Rays.
Now they're just trying to pick different teams.
2028 Orioles over the Pirates.
What?
2029 Yankees over the Cubs.
They must have had conditions that you can't pick the same team twice.
2030 Mariners over the Brewers. 2031 Mets over the Twins.
Hey!
2032 Dodgers over the Red Sox.
2032, 8 years from now.
2033 the Chicago White Sox over the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's the write-up. This will be a fun year because it will mark the 100th anniversary of the first Major League Baseball All-Star Game. 2034 Athletics over the Rockies. They picked the next 10, and really, they could have just. They're used to. I'm sure there's this guy.
Names out of a hat. They just only
exactly.
Names. First of all, the Dodgers not winning. They've got to be favorites going into the next 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, the fact that it's not Dodgers over or somebody over the Dodgers for like 9 of these 10 years is kind of silly, right? Yeah. You'd think it would be.
They kind of walked through the NL this year. The Mets tried to put up a fight, but Shohei didn't even pitch. He just hit this year.
Yeah, and the Dodgers did nothing but sign people all offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like there's only the Dodgers on here like one time.
That's what I'm like. This is BS. That's the Mets is on there twice. Really? Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
But these predictions though: 2015 Royals over Mets, 2016 Cubs over Indians, 2017 Astros over Dodgers. Can you believe these? This is what's going to happen. I'm like, well, here's a list. I'm going to start reading this list. I saw a graphic earlier. That's what I wanted to look at. I wanted to share the graphic. But instead, I have to scroll through pages here to see write-ups. I don't want the write-ups. I don't care what you think's going to happen or why you think it's going to happen. Just give me yours.
They're stupid. That's the difference. Because it feels like I said, they just picked hats, names out of a hat.
Yeah, it don't matter none. Like, baseball is one of the few sports where like the craziest shit will happen. Like, oh,
a team gets hot in August and they stay hot.
Yeah, like remember what it was like the Twins and the Braves were in the World Series, and they were both last place teams the previous year, right? That doesn't happen in other sports. And that's when that started the Braves' run of like 90 straight seasons of being good.
Justin Verlander reportedly signs with the Giants.
1 year. I didn't know he's 41 already.
I was about to say, yeah, he's over 40 years old now.
Yeah, he's 41. Signed a one year deal with the Giants. Yep, it's baseball. I don't know, man. I have absolutely zero interest in it whatsoever. Wake me up when it's the end of the year and show he's going for 70-70 club or something like that, and 70 wins. 70 home runs and 70 stolen
bases.
Yes. The 70-70-70 club. First player ever.
70 wins. That's a lot of wins.
In a season. Yeah, it would be. If he's starting almost half the year. Or he can come out of the bullpen, right?
And get the win. Yes, he
just
can.
Just get 70 wins. It goes like 70 and 2 on the season coming out of the bullpen. He just comes in every game. It's possible.
Man. It is.
I don't think the Dodgers will be down 70 times, though, for him to come in.
I hate him.
I know. Me too.
I hate him.
You used to hate the Yankees. I still hate the Yankees. But remember, it was the Yankees. All they do is buy their championships.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And they started it, Mets got to start buying championships.
I wish I had a team that would buy championships.
Mets have to start. It doesn't. They don't have when they say 2024 World Series. There's no dollar sign about how much they pay for that thing on that. It just says they won the championship.
Yep. They get to say we've won X amount of trophies. Right? There's no rule that says a dog can't play baseball, and there's also no rule that says a dog or a team can't buy a World Series. So just do it. Goddamn, why doesn't everybody do it? Just go out there and try to do it.
Strike zone on the dog. Nope, they changed it. Still has to be within a certain height, so you can't even do that.
Yep. Well, I mean, hey, as long as he sticks a bat out there, maybe the dog there was an Air Bud, right, where the dog played baseball. There had to.
Yeah, I think he played every sport.
I know there was. There's no rule that says a dog can't play basketball. I'm like, well, it's not written that way, but.
It's understood.
Yeah.
I didn't think we had to put that in there.
They tried the 50s, and it was like, no, I can't do that. Don't ever try again. Okay. It's just been the honor system. But everybody breaks all the honor systems now. It don't matter.
It's not a written rule. It's not a rule.
Yep. I can do whatever. Harland, speaking of doing whatever, I think we should call it a night.
Yes.